Have you ever felt that your body is no longer entirely yours? Not broken, not sick, just slightly out of reach, as if something has shifted quietly without asking you first? You wake up one morning in a place that feels colder than usual, not just outside but somewhere deeper, and nothing is obviously wrong, yet something is undeniably different, because your body still moves, but it does not quite respond the way you expect. There is a delay, a hesitation, as if something between you and it has grown distant. At first you ignore it, because you assume it will pass like everything else always has, but it doesn't. It returns again in small ways you can't explain. Your energy does not return the same way. Your movements feel slightly borrowed. Even your reflection takes a moment longer to feel like you. And then very quietly a thought appears. What if this is not coming back? What if this is the new version of you? That is when the discomfort begins, not fear, not yet, just a quiet realization that something is no longer listening. And what makes it worse is that nothing is wrong enough to fix. There is no clear moment, no sharp break, only a slow shift you cannot stop or rewind, like a conversation that used to be effortless now fading into silence. There is a moment most people miss, when your body is still here but the feeling of being it is already gone. And that is when something deeper begins, because now the distance does not feel temporary, it begins to feel normal. You continue your life, you move, you speak, you respond, and from the outside everything looks the same. But inside there is a growing sense that you are no longer fully inside what you are. And then one day something subtle happens. You reach for something and halfway through the motion you become aware of your own hand. Not as your hand, but as something separate, something you are guiding, something you are watching. And in that moment there is a gap, small but undeniable, between the one who moves and the movement itself. And once you notice that gap, you cannot unnotice it. It begins to appear again, in the way you walk, in the way you breathe, in the way your body continues even when you are not paying attention. And slowly the experience deepens into something more unsettling, because it is no longer just about your body feeling distant. It is about you no longer fully arriving inside it. You speak and notice yourself speaking. You laugh and feel a strange silence behind it, as if the moment happened but you did not fully meet it. And sometimes you feel like you are half a step behind your own life, watching instead of simply being. You sit still and notice your breathing, and for a brief moment it feels like your body does not need you, not in a dramatic way, but quietly, naturally, as if everything continues whether you are there or not, and something about that stays with you, because it suggests that what you thought was you may not be what is holding everything together. You begin to sense that this is not confusion but a kind of clarity, a clarity that cannot be undone, because now you see that you do not fully own this body, you accompany it, you manage it, but you no longer disappear into it the way you once did. And the more you try to return to that feeling, the more distant it becomes, because what you are trying to return to is never something you controlled, it was something you never noticed. And now you notice everything, the way your body shifts, the way it hesitates, the way it continues with or without your awareness, and slowly another realization forms. Nothing has been taken from you. Nothing has been removed. Your body is still here, still functioning, still living, and yet something essential no longer feels fully yours, not gone, just out of reach. Then something changes again, not in your body, but in where you feel you are in relation to it, because the distance is no longer between you and your body, it is within you, and you begin to notice that sometimes you are there but not entirely, present but not fully placed, as if you arrived just a second too late to your own moment. And this repetition creates a quiet tension, not fear, not confusion, but a subtle sense that you are misplaced inside your own life. You begin to question something you never questioned before. If I am not fully where this body is, then where am I? And no answer comes. Only the experience repeating itself, quietly, steadily, until you realize that what you have always called me is not as fixed as it once felt, that it moves, that it slips, that sometimes it arrives late and sometimes it does not arrive at all, and yet everything continues. Your body continues. Your breath continues. Your life continues. And you are still here, but not in the way you used to be. At some point, the struggle begins to fade, not because things return to how they were, but because you begin to see that they never will. And the distance you once resisted becomes something you no longer try to fix, because there is nothing to return to. The version of you that felt completely inside your body was never something you held. It was something you passed through, and now you are passing through something else. At first, this feels like loss, quiet and deeply personal, as if you are losing yourself. But if you stay with it without trying to replace it, something unexpected appears. Not a new identity, not an answer, but a kind of space. The same space that once felt like distance now begins to feel like openness. You move, and whether it feels like you or not no longer matters in the same way. You breathe, and whether you are doing it or it is happening no longer creates tension, because the need to feel fully located begins to loosen, and with it the need to confirm who you are through your body. There is still movement, still awareness, but something softer emerges. You are no longer trying to be inside the experience, you are simply with it, and strangely that feels lighter, not because you have regained control, but because the pressure to have control is no longer there. The body continues as it always has, and you are no longer trying to keep up with it, no longer asking it to confirm that you exist, and in that quiet shift the question itself begins to dissolve. What remains is not clarity, not certainty, but a stillness that does not need to explain itself, and perhaps that is enough.